So to get to my application rules, I, of course, go to my administrator console. We have application rules for all the applications. I'm focusing on incident and change, but there are also rules for problem and release. I just don't tend to look at those as much, and maybe I should. Maybe one of these days I'll need to look at those. But if we come down here and I look at incident management, and I look under advanced, I see there's this line rules. And if I bring this up, if you haven't been in this before, you're going to notice a couple things that maybe it's things you want to change in your particular implementation. So for example, one of the things everybody looks at is how long to auto-resolve. So this parameter here, auto-resolve in days, is when a ticket is taken to resolved, if nobody closes it manually, how long until the system closes it? Default is 15 days. A lot of companies want to change that to 5 days or possibly to several months if they're in a more sensitive area. So that's one of the things, easy to change. You can just change it there. The other thing I like to look at here are these two service CI type things. As you know, when you go into your incident form, the service field is bolded. If this is set to yes, it does have to have a service in it. If it's set to no, even though the field is bolded with the asterisk, you don't have to have a service in that field. So if you've wanted a different functionality in that field, this may be something that can help you. And then maybe you're okay with the CI not being related on submit, but you do want it when you resolve a ticket. You can also set that here, again, just through this. So these are the kinds of things I look at. In terms of being able to change some of these dates, even if you set these to yes, there are some limits around who can do that. But if you set it to no, nobody can do it. So I do want to mention that. If any of you are using TrueSight, formerly known as BPPM, formerly known as event monitors, other things like that, this area is tied to the TrueSight integration into Remedy. And this area is all around TrueSight finds an event that pops an incident record into Remedy with the impacted CIs, the causal CIs, multiple tickets, link them together, things like that. So this is really around that integration, how that integration is going to happen, and what kind of things are allowed by it. So if you've been confused by that particular section, it's really tied into the TrueSight thing. You can kind of use it to fake some things, even if you don't have the TrueSight integration going, by setting your ticket to an infrastructure event type. Some of these things can still apply. I have not done a lot with that, but I did want to mention, maybe you could use this even if you aren't using TrueSight, but it is really meant for that TrueSight integration. So that was the incident rules. We're going to spend a little time now on the change rules. Like I said, I don't really worry about problem rules and release rules. They have them as well, just not as interesting to me. So I'm going to go ahead and do my search again here. And again, you can see that we've got a record here for our company, and then we've got a global record. So if I'm looking at the Calbro one, things that I like to look at in here. Again, there's an auto close. How long to leave a change open until somebody closes it or you auto close it. You can see some other things are in here as well. Assignment engine integration is always the biggie. Of course, you want to be tied into your assignment engine, assuming you're noticing it, and other things. Task closure at each phase and task phase management. We have something similar in incident, by the way, around being able to enforce whether tasks are opened or closed. And I didn't point that out here. On my incident one, incident resolution with open tasks, give a warning message, error message, no action. I usually like warning message, but in your area, you may want to actually do an error message, not let them close an incident with open task. Yeah, something similar with change management in terms of whether those you can move to the next phase if the tasks are closed or are not closed. And that's where we get into task phase management. And that's our next topic. So look at those rules, pay attention to them, see if other things are interesting. But I want to talk specifically around task phase management. So to do that, I'm going to set this to yes. And I'm going to set this to yes because I want to enforce it. And what this does is allow you to have tasks that are not just at implementation phase. You can have tasks that you're going to do earlier in the change before the implementation gets underway. And that's a cool concept. So how does that work? I've set those to yes. How do I make this happen? I do it through a change template. So if I come back into my change management section, I go into template, When I create a template now, I'm going to have another option that I'll show in just a second. So we're just going to go call this test template. Very exciting. I'm going to give it a category of test. I can type today and fill out, of course, the required fields. I'd love to talk to you about those change types some more. Maybe I'll do a blog post about when those are used, because they are used in different ways, but I won't do that today. Let's just say moderate limited, medium urgency, summary, test template, company. Got to fill out all those required fields. Got to put in an assign for group. So we're going to do it for our change management group. Okay, so where task phasing comes in is over on Task Templates tab. You will now see this field. And this field says when I relate a task or a task template to this change, which phase will it be linked to? So if I want to do a task in the review phase instead of the implementation phase, I go ahead, select it, and we'll say we want to back up the system in the review phase for some reason. Doesn't matter what it is. But then when I get to implementation, I want to do a task there. I don't want to kick it off until it gets to implementation. And we'll say installing the hard drive. And we'll say my mouse is going crazy here. Install hard drive. Boom, I'm having fun with scrolling today. Okay. Relate my hard drive. So that's now related at the implementation phase. I have a task at the review phase. And so now what happens on that? Let me go ahead and log into Smart IT and show you what happens now when I create a change with that particular template. Test template. Go ahead and continue. I'm not going to worry about all the choices. Hopefully you all have seen a Smart IT demo if you aren't using it, so you know all the wonderful things you can do in change request in Smart IT. But I'm just going to go ahead and submit this change. And when I create this change, I'm going to see down here that I have tasks. And I can now look at them by phases. So if I look at this as all phases, I have one task at the phase review and one task at the phase implementation. If I don't do task phasing, all of my tasks are at implementation. And a lot of times that's fine. That's all you need task at. But for complicated changes, you may want to do things before implementation. Maybe you want to get documentation, maybe you want to do a budget quote, other kinds of things as well. So you want to put them in the review or the business approval or business phase. So let me go ahead. Actually, I did not want to do that. Before I go into that change, let me try and move this change to the implementation phase, and let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and use my handy dandy thing there. Go ahead and save. I don't have any approval rules tied to this. I removed them before I started this demo. So planning in progress, great. Let me go ahead and try and move it to the next phase. And we're going to start it tomorrow. We're going to end it this weekend. Got nothing else to do on a holiday weekend. Go ahead and save. And notice I get an error. I can't move this to that phase because I have an open task in a previous phase. It's a bit of a box up at the top. It's not going to let me move any further because I said in the rules I said to enforce that task had to be done. So if I go back to that review phase, and now I go ahead and complete this task. Closed. Success. It was a beautiful task. I did a great job on it. I go back to my change. And now if I try to move to the next phase, put in those same scheduled dates. And now I can move. I don't get the error. So that's what task phasing is. You want to use task phasing when you have changes that you need to get some work done before you ever get to implementation, driven by templates and driven by those change rules. So back here, enable task phase management. Like I said, I enforce task closure. That's your choice if you want to enforce that or not. If you have any questions, I forgot to mention this, but you all know this. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A window, and we'll try and get to those. Okay, and again, we will try to do blog posts on some of this. I know it's a lot of data. So what's next? Switch hats. We're talking bulk inventory. There are several steps you need to go through if you want to use bulk inventory in asset management. This is great for items that you don't want to track individually. Maybe Bluetooth headset or something. Do we track those individually anymore, or do we do them differently? So how do I do that? Well, I'm back in my application administration console. The first thing I need to do is do a product category for my bulk inventory. So I'm going to come down to product catalog. I'm going to hit my create button and hit my create button. And this one little thing here I want to mention, because every time I go to look for this, I forget this one little thing. On the top drop down, I'm having fun on my system today. Not trying to overload your system, just trying to do bulk inventory. Okay, we're having fun with the system today. Come on. Let's try that again. Product catalog. Open, and we'll get to that bulk inventory. I may just be being too impatient because I'm trying to get this done and respect your time and get that done in 20 minutes. So I'm not letting my system do what it does best. Okay, hit that create button. I'll give the screen some time to come up. So when the screen comes up, you're going to see the top option is what category is bulk inventory under, this product type. Pick business process. This is my biggest mistake I always make when I've been away from bulk inventory for a while. I think it should be under hardware. For some reason, it's under business process. I don't know why. But I pick business process, then I pick bulk inventory, and then I can do my categorization. So I'm going to say hardware. I'm just going to use my Bluetooth headset. And you all will have much better categorizations than I do. But basically, Bluetooth headset, manufacturer, I don't know who does Bluetooth. We'll blame it on Adaptec, and go ahead and save it. So that's the first step. You create product categories. Okay? The next step you're going to do is you're going to go back to your application administration console, and you're going to go into asset management. So we got under asset management, under advanced, where, by the way, there's also a rules. We're going to go into bulk CI reorder level and lead time specifications. And this is where we set reorder level. So for those Bluetooth headsets, what's my reorder level for them? Base unit, I'm going to do each. You got case, dozen, each. I'm going to say the reorder level is 10. And it takes me, let's say 5 days to get these in. Amazon's really slow on these. So I've done that with my reorder level. So we create the product categories, and we go in and set our reorder level. And now we're able to go ahead and actually create an asset record for bulk inventory. So I come back into my asset management console. And I'm going to create a bulk inventory item. I'm assuming you all have inventory locations already set up. If not, you should at least have a default one, because when you set up your bulk inventory, you're going to say, where are you storing it? And again, inventory locations in the CMDB can be closets, they can be warehouses, they can be, I don't know, somebody's desk, wherever you keep your inventory. I'm going to go ahead and create bulk inventory for the Bluetooth headsets. And I've got my tiers. These all look familiar. Yes, we got these. Obviously, if I had more bulk inventory, this part would be a little more interesting. But we can see now we've set the reorder level is automatically set, as well as the base unit. So I'm going to say we received 50. And go ahead and save this record. A couple other things I want to do here. So because I've received 50, I've got 50 in stock. And now's when I go ahead and add an inventory location. I've got 2 inventory locations in here. I'm going to put them into Boston. Go ahead and relate that. And you say, okay, Anne, well, that's kind of interesting. So now I know I have my Boston location. I have all 50 in that same location so that I know how many are in there. Okay. Oops, I did save. I hit save. So my Boston location has 50 units in it. If I go to my transactions, we'll see that we added 50 units in. Okay, how do I start reserving these? I got 50 bulk unit items, 50 headsets in there. I want to get some. I'm setting up a new call center, having a small one, 5 people coming. How do I reserve those? I come back to my asset console. I come into manage inventory. I can search for my bulk inventory or however I want to search on this. And I can see that I have some. I have 50 in there. For this particular transaction, I just need 5. So in this column, I put in 5. And I click on reserve and use inventory. I'll get a message up top in just a second saying that I did go ahead and reserve those. There we go. Assets have been successfully reserved. And so now when I go to my bulk order item again, I now see I have 45 in stock, and on my transactions, I can see that I pulled out 5. So bulk inventory is a great way to track bulk inventory and what kinds of things are going on, and again, get notified on the reorder level. To get notified, if you go to your NTE config notification events, go to the notification events form, there is a notification in here for bulk orders. So I go to asset management, bulk orders. I can see there is a notification event in here. Right now, I'm not doing one because I don't have anybody in that login ID. But my understanding is if I put something into here, and I don't have email set up with my demo system, so that's why I didn't test it, but you will get emailed when your bulk reorder level gets down to whatever you specified. In this case, we said 10. So now you get notified, you can buy more Bluetooth headsets, and everybody's going to be happy. So that's bulk inventory, maybe not quite in a nutshell, but hopefully that made sense. Product cats, reorder levels, create the bulk inventory item, and then reserve it through the using inventory. Okay, last topic, using web reporting. Give us a couple tips for that. And there are 2 tips I want to give you today. One of those is around enforcing permissions for web reports and then being able to schedule reports. So I'm going to go ahead and come up to, we'll go ahead and use this. So you know the default permissions with reports is people can mark in public or private. So either only you can see them or everybody can see them. If you open up the report form directly, and I'm going to search on HPD Help Desk and look for active reports, and go ahead and search, I can actually limit these. You see this assignee group? I can say this report is only going to be for some groups. So if I just wanted to make my released masters be able to see this report, I could go ahead and do that. So if you ever want to start limiting your reports or have some reports for certain groups, open up the report form directly and use this assignee group field. The other thing you can do here is set the categories. If you all remember, if you come up into report, there is a set of categories, right? You can do incidents. Under incidents, you have a 3-level category. This reports form is where those categories get set. So if you ever want to modify those categories and have them come up differently, you can absolutely do that. I mean, I think I'm over here. I'm already in the report console here. So these categories, these are driven by those category forms on the report form. So incident details by a status and assigned group. If I want to modify that one, I suppose it doesn't really matter what I do here, but let's go ahead and, no, let's not save the current search. Incident details. An assigned group, if I wanted to change the categorization, I would do test. Right here, I'm going to have a new categorization. And so next time when Mary comes into report console, she's going to see some new categorizations out there. So if you ever do need to modify these or add custom ones, here we go, all incidents, test. Now that report is in that test category. So pretty easy to do that. You can set up your own categories, or you can use our categories, however you want to do it, but you can modify that in that report form. The other thing I want to talk about is scheduling. Mary cannot schedule a report. She's kind of bummed. She wants to schedule a report. Default is only administrators can schedule a report. Now this one's going to take us through a few things. There is a knowledge article that does this. So I will actually go ahead and put this in the chat real quick so that you all have the link, and I will again include this in the blog report. I'm just going to walk through how this happens. So if you want to let non-administrators schedule a report, there's a few places you go. I have my group form open here, so I've hacked my URL, put group in there. I'm going to do a new group. I'm going to call it, just so I can find it easy, I'm putting a couple asterisks in there. Report schedule. Give it a group ID. You'll, of course, want to look at your current group IDs and make sure you're not duplicating any, and create that group. Report schedule. I'm then still in my group folder or group form, going to search AIAR. There's a group out here called AR System Scheduler. I'm going to append that group I just created to this particular group list. And this is the hard part because there's a lot to scroll through here. And I'm trying to find one with a couple of asterisks in it. And it usually takes me a minute. And those of you out there are waving your hands saying, I know how to do this, and yeah, I know. You'll probably see it well before I do. I apologize. This just takes me a minute to find that. I don't know what order these are in. Someday I got to figure out what order this is in, and that would make mine a lot easier to find. And some are down here. It's coming. It's coming. There it is. Report schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and OK that. And now I've changed the AR System Scheduler group to include the group report schedule. Then my third step is I need to add my user into the report schedule group. So I'm coming into my user form. Again, I hacked my URL to put user up there. I'm going to look for Mary because I want her to be able to schedule reports. And I'm going to add the report schedule form onto here. And now we just need to find that report schedule form. I'm trying to remember asterisks show up on here. And it should have been here somewhere. Let's go back up. And, well, I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Should be seeing the report schedule form. And you all are probably seeing it, and just where did those asterisks show up? So sometimes asterisks are not useful, because in this case it would have been really helpful to start it with RE instead of asterisk, asterisk. Somewhere in here is the report schedule form. Well, I won't take your time up anymore. I did want to show you working it all the way through, but you can absolutely do this in your environment. You find that, actually, why don't I just do the AI schedule form, AIAR, if that's available. And that group's not going to be here either. So I'm having some fun on this one. So anyway, you find that group. It worked great yesterday when I walked through this before the demo. You find that group, you add it to her user list, and then she'll be able to log out, log in, and she's going to be able to schedule. Apologize, I did want to show that all the way through. Just pick the group. Once you find it, add it, save her record. She logs out, she logs in. She'll now be able to schedule records. And I apologize I couldn't find that here, but I don't want to waste your time anymore. So give that a try. We will be setting up a blog post. And again, that knowledge article is in the chat if you want to go ahead and look at that knowledge article, which has the details on how to do that. So that is it for today. I appreciate everybody's time. Again, you will be getting a link to all 3 videos.